How many of us struggle with that small two-letter word, no? It can feel like a sharp edge in a world that often expects us to be yes people. We fear disappointment, we worry about missed opportunities, and sometimes we just don't want to let others down. But here's the truth. Saying no isn't about closing doors. It's about creating healthy boundaries in our lives. Learning to decline requests politely is a game changer. Mastering the art of the polite no is a journey, and it's one worth taking. In today's episode of Motive Matrix, we will share 5 ways to say no without offending others.
First, let's talk about honesty. Not the kind that makes you cringe, but the kind that feels like a breath of fresh air. When we're direct and honest in our communication, especially when saying no, we build trust. Think about it. Have you ever felt misled by someone's vague response, only to find out later they weren't truly on board? It can breed resentment and misunderstandings. Being upfront about our limitations, even if it feels awkward at first, ultimately strengthens our relationships. This doesn't mean being harsh or insensitive. It's about finding clear, compassionate language to convey our message. It's about owning our no without sugarcoating it. When we're genuine, people feel respected. They might not always like our answer, but they'll appreciate our honesty. This clarity allows them to adjust their expectations and move forward without harboring false hope. Remember, a no said with integrity is far better than a yes built on shaky ground.
2. Saying no doesn't have to be a dead end. Sometimes it's about finding a different path. When we decline a request, offering an alternative solution can be incredibly helpful. It shows the other person that while we might not be able to fulfill their specific request, we're still invested in finding a positive outcome. Maybe you can't make a meeting but offer to contribute ideas beforehand, or perhaps you can't commit to a large project but can recommend someone else who might be a perfect fit. The key here is to be genuine in your willingness to help. Don't offer alternatives that feel forced or insincere. If you can't think of another solution, it's perfectly okay to simply say no gracefully and move on. Remember, offering an alternative isn't about negating your no. It's about demonstrating flexibility and a willingness to collaborate where possible. It's a way to maintain positive connections, even when our boundaries necessitate a decline. 3. There's a subtle art to saying no in a way that feels both firm and kind. This is where the soft no comes in. It's about using positive language to cushion the impact of our refusal while still maintaining clarity. Instead of a blunt "I can't," consider phrases like, "Thank you so much for thinking of me, but I'm completely booked that day." Notice how we acknowledge the request with gratitude and then offer a brief, honest explanation. The goal is to be empathetic without leaving room for misinterpretation. We want to validate the other person's feelings while still standing firm in our decision. Remember, a soft no isn't about being passive or avoiding confrontation. It's about finding a balance between honesty and kindness. It's about communicating our limits with grace and respect, leaving the other person feeling heard and valued, even in the face of a no. 4. Setting boundaries is an act of self-respect. It's about recognizing our limits and communicating them clearly to those around us. It's about saying, "This is what I can offer, and this is where I need to draw the line." Often we struggle with boundaries because we don't want to disappoint others. We fear conflict or worry about being perceived as selfish. But the truth is, healthy boundaries are essential for healthy relationships. When we set boundaries with empathy, we acknowledge the other person's needs while still prioritizing our own. We create a space of mutual respect, where everyone feels seen and heard. Remember, saying no to protect our time, energy, or emotional well-being is not selfish. It's an act of self-care. It allows us to show up as our best selves in all areas of our lives. 5. In a world that often prizes instant responses, there's a quiet power in learning to pause. When facing a request, especially one that triggers hesitation, give yourself permission to take a step back before committing. Instead of a knee-jerk yes or no, consider saying, "Let me think about that and get back to you." This buys you valuable time to consider the request thoughtfully. Use this time to reflect on your priorities, your capacity, and how saying yes might impact your overall well-being. Sometimes we need that space to realize that what we initially felt obligated to do doesn't actually align with our needs or goals. When you do respond, communicate your decision with clarity and respect. Explain your reasoning briefly without over-justifying your no. Remember, you've taken the time to weigh your options, and now you're communicating your decision with confidence and intention. Learning to say no with grace and authenticity is a journey, and like any journey, it takes practice. Start small, be kind to yourself, and remember that setting healthy boundaries is a gift you give yourself and your relationships. Now, I'd love to hear from you. What are your biggest challenges when it comes to saying no? Share your experiences in the comments below. And if you found these tips helpful, don't forget to subscribe for more content on navigating life's complexities with courage and heart.